Paul McGuire Grimes, KSTP, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Patricia Trammell, it's really great talking to both of you today. I think that Severance is such a unique and interesting premise, and it's been kind of a fun, unpredictable ride. So thank you for this.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Now, Patricia, I do want to start with you. Now, you've worked with Ben Stiller before as a director. Describe Ben's style as a director, and is it a different side of him than we're kind of used to seeing from him on camera?
Yeah, Ben, I think working with him in Escape at Dannemora, he had a very different directing style. This was very structured. The whole storyline takes place in this corporation, and the visual language that he was using in this, and sort of the structure of each character and the spaces in between. He had a very different process in this. And I've also worked with him as an actor, which was completely different. So he's very ambidextrous.
Love hearing that. And I love the look of the show too. Like the symmetry and the architecture and the whole color palette is fascinating to look at. Now, Trammell, this story takes a very different approach to kind of the work-life balance. How do you find that balance while you're trying to work?
I'm still trying to find it. It is a process, what we do as artists, I love it so much that it doesn't feel like work. So it's hard to let it go and sever myself, if you will. But it is a challenge, and it's definitely something that I'm working towards figuring out in the midst of it, Now,
Patricia, you wear two hats in this because you're also a producer as well as starring in it. Were you still able to find that work-life balance doing both roles? And what's your biggest takeaway having been on the other side of the camera now?
Honestly, I think it was kind of miraculous that we got this done, because it was during the whole pandemic and a lot of shutdowns, and it ended up extending for a lot longer period, and people were supposed to be on other projects that then also got put out. So there was a lot of strange pieces kind of moving around. And I think it was a strange way to work, because as actors, we're really used to kind of bonding and seeing each other's faces, even smiles, and these kind of small little ways of making connections weren't there. So it was kind of like when we could see each other was really when we were shooting.
Like, oh, hey, that's what you look like.
Yeah. Oh, you're smiling at that. Okay. Or,
oh, that's your emotion in this line. Oh, okay.
Right
yeah. Dr. Mel, this certainly goes in an unpredictable manner to the plot and how it all unfolds. Are you the kind of actor like that likes to know the whole arc up front, or did you kind of take it episode by episode as you're reading the scripts?
I like to know the arc all the way through. But this wasn't possible in this atmosphere. It just felt like improv. I was like, I think my character wears a red shirt. It's like, nope, he wears blue. Okay, great. Let's go that route. But it made such a great ride. And Dan Erickson and Ben Stiller were so instrumental and wonderful to work with, and really helped with the collaborative process. So we were able to talk about it, and I was able to suss through it, and what you have before you is what was created.
Yeah, no, that's great. I got the wrap. It's been great talking to both of you. Patricia, Boyhood is an absolute masterpiece. One of my favorite movies of the last 10 years plus. So thank you for this. And I hope maybe we get more of this at some point down the road. Yeah.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
It was phenomenal. And congrats on the Oscar for that too, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
so
God, love it.
To work on that.
Yeah, thank you for both of you for Paul McGuire Grimes, KSTP, Minneapolis, St. Paul, John, Zach, and Britt. It's really great talking to all three of you today. Severance is such a unique and interesting concept, and the ride has been really interesting so far. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, now, John, I want to start with you. I was shocked to read that you've never worked with Ben Stiller before. Maybe that's not true, but describe Ben as a director, and is it different than how we typically think of him on screen?
Yes. Yes. He's not the Ben from Something About Mary, for sure. No, he's a very serious guy, and very detailed and really specific and really hardworking. And he likes lots of different choices, and he likes to see how a scene can play in a variety of ways. And he was very, very specific, in the whole setting of where we were, and with all the props and everything. So yeah, I've worked with a lot of directors, and it's they're all different. They're all different. just leave you alone. Some really get in there. So yes, I've known Ben a little bit throughout the years, but we really, I knew his mom a little bit. So yeah.
His parents are incredible talent. Like, they were phenomenal.
I love them both. So,
Yeah. Now, Britt, this story takes such a different approach to the work-life balance concept. How do you try to find the balance when you're working?
Honestly, I try to get outside, and like lately I've been playing a lot of basketball. Honestly, it just gets me into my body and out of my head, and it's fun. I enjoy it. So yeah, doing something active helps me to break away from work.
That's great. Now, Zach, this show certainly goes in some very unpredictable directions. Like, I never really know what's going to happen next, and I love that about it. Are you the kind of actor that likes to know the whole arc up front, or did you kind of take it episode by episode?
I kind of took it episode by episode, and our characters, you mostly see them at the office, so we don't know what they're like outside. And we had a little bit of conversation about, did I want to know the backstory? And I kind of was like, I don't need to know it until he would know it. So I kind of took it as it went.
Oh, I love that's a great approach. Fascinating. Now, John, you always like to. I always love when you play kind of interesting offbeat characters throughout your career. Do you just kind of naturally gravitate toward this kind of material, or is that just what's sent to you these days?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay.
No,
that's fine. You don't have to.
I think the whole idea of comedy or drama or stories, everyone is specific.
Yeah.
So the idea of something being offbeat, I don't know what that means, actually. I'd be very honest with you.
Yeah.
I really don't know what that means. I'm sure you have offbeat qualities or
ask my husband. He can list all of them.
Yeah. So I to me, my job is to keep you awake. That's my job. Fall asleep, right? If you fall asleep, I failed. So I like to try to find characters who are interesting. And I also liked in this character that you see this rigid person who then, like this wave, hits the shore, and he's just overwhelmed. And, and all of a sudden his sexuality starts to come out, and his feelings of the human connection. And I thought there was something really kind of lovely about that. And as long as I could do it with someone who I really had a chemistry with, and I had suggested Chris, and I was really happy that Chris was my partner, and because I love Chris. So
that's great. Oh, I love hearing that. Yeah, awesome. I got the wrap. It's been great talking to all three of you today. Congrats again on Severance.